I had one of our students here reach out to us recently, and they said a couple things. They said, Dan, I'm going on all of these podcasts, right? I don't know, maybe do you go on podcasts and do interviews, but I'm not generating any leads from it. And I'm certainly not generating any consultations, and I'm certainly not generating any new business from it. And how frustrating is that, where you put time and energy, maybe it's 30 minutes, maybe it's an hour, maybe it's longer, some prep time, you add that all up and you've got nothing to show for it. Or maybe you have a podcast and you can't seem to build your following. You can't seem to monetize it or optimize it, right? And so today is really a powerful session, again, about helping you be able to go out there and get appointments, get leads, get sessions and sales from your activity. So I think you're going to love what we have to share with you. In fact, it's the two-step approach to be able to do this. I'm going to walk you through a few simple steps. Now, before we dive in, here's something to be able to think about. Do you know what business you're really in, or what your focus of the business is? Dan Kennedy, who's someone I've gotten a chance to learn from over the year, maybe you have too. Dan teaches the idea that you're not in the business you think you're in. You're in the marketing of the business you think you're in. And while I believe that to be true in my heart of hearts, I think there's a second area for this. And that second area is related to relationships, right? See, truth be told, we're all in this business. We're in the relationship business. I don't care whether you run an HVAC company, a plumbing company, electrical company, a brick and mortar business, a consulting business, a coach, or any number of businesses. We're in the relationship business, aren't we? I mean, if you're in it for the long term. Now, if you're in it for the short term and it's transactional, that may be a little bit different. But if you're in it for the long term, you're in business for this, relationships. And then the key is, how do we convert relationships to a great long-term business? So I want to simplify a couple things related to this. See, when we really look at the relationship business that we're in, it really goes to two key things. There are two approaches, we should say, two approaches to really leverage your business. You've got offline opportunities, which are face-to-face or person-to-person kind of opportunities. And then you've got online opportunities, right? And there's really two simple steps to be able to work with when it comes to those factors. And I'm going to walk you through those two incredible steps. Now, for me, it's really been powerful to go on this journey. I've had people who go, hey, Dan, and by the way, you might be going, well, who the hell are you anyway? So my name is Dan Kuschell. I'm the founder of a company called Breakthrough 3X. And I'll go a little bit more into it later. But I've been able to build 11 plus companies, handful of 7-figure companies, a couple 8-figure companies, bought companies, sold companies. But also, the truth is, I've also crashed a couple of companies. I've made a lot of mistakes over the years. I got started all the way back in 1992 in my very first businesses. And it's been quite a journey. I want to help you avoid and eliminate some of those common mistakes, especially if you're struggling with generating leads or sales or profitability or making sense of all this craziness out, because it can be a little bit overwhelming, right? So we help entrepreneurs, business owners, maybe like you, simplify the process to grow your impact, grow your income, grow your reach, and grow your contribution. So what are these two simple steps? So really it's two steps. And what I find is the big problem, the big misunderstanding in most people. And by the way, one of the things that we have done, I've had infomercials both on radio and TV. We've literally generated over 200,000 online clients with our different programs and education services over the years. And in all of this learning, what we have found, not only ourselves, but also working with a lot of different clients, hundreds of thousands over the years, and coaching over 5,000 business owners, is step number one is the one that's most often missed. Now, there may be other terminology around it, but I really want to give you the framework. So I really want you to pay attention. You may want to jot down, grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, jot down a couple notes here as we spend a little bit of time together today. But there's two steps. The first step is called piquing interest. And then step two is giving a call to action and offer. Now, I'm not just going to give you a big giant what to do here and say, oh, it's pique interest and it's call to action. I'm actually going to give you the scripts. Is it okay if I give you word for word samples, word for word scripts that we use, we have our clients use, I want to give those to you right now here today. And so stay tuned, because I've got those available as a bonus for you for free, by the way, if you're just here with us as we go through this little training segment. Now, I sat down, and as I was getting ready for this session today, I was like, okay, where are all the opportunities that I've been able to make money? There's probably more here that I haven't listed, but these were the top 10 that came to mind. Some have been greater weight than others. Right now, as you hear or see these 10 items, you may have preferences here. Now, if you're not generating a solid amount of money from one yet, don't worry about the other 9. Find one and drive that 1 or 2 deep, if that makes sense. Be the kind of business person, the kind of business owner that you go a mile deep and not a mile wide. So many businesses, another big challenge that we see of why so many businesses seem to struggle in all kinds of areas and struggle with leads and sales is there's so many ideas, it gets overwhelming, and most people think they're going a mile deep, but in reality they're going an inch deep. So I want to challenge you to go a mile deep with what we're sharing with you. And by the way, if you're liking this segment and this training opportunity, make sure to like the page. If there's someone you think could benefit from this, our highest compliment is if you share this segment with someone else. So feel free to be able to do that. So here are 10 different ways that we identified that we've made money. And ideally, these will give you a brainstorm of other opportunities for you to be able to make money. But regardless of these 10 or any others, there's 2 steps for you to leverage relationships, to get the phone to ring, to get more appointments, to get more leads, to get more sales, and to get more strategy session or consulting sessions if that's the business that you're in. So let me walk you through these. And my screen is moving around here just a little bit. So there we go. Here are 10 simple opportunities, some more than others. And again, because you're in the relationship, and at the center of this hub is just really about you being a human being. Again, looking at the transformation that you provide, being a human being, long-term approach, relationships versus transactional in nature. And I just want to put this up close so you can see it. So you've got things like events, maybe you like to go to events, maybe you don't. But one of the best ways for me that I've been able to generate new business is going to people. See, have you ever heard the idea that if you are casual at things, you become a casualty? That's an old sports analogy. When you're casual, you become a casualty. Don't be casual. Don't play half speed. If you play half speed, you're going to get hurt. That's what happens in business a lot. So a way that we have found to be effective is going to people. But once you go to people at an event and some of these other things I'll go through, you've got to have an approach, and it's 2 steps. It's pique interest and then make an offer. And again, I'm going to give you word for word templates and scripts that you can copy and paste and use starting right now. Other things like, for example, speaking opportunities where you get a chance to go speak, and there's dozens of different places that you could be doing that regardless of your business. And so on. Meeting people individually over coffee, or maybe you're just at a Starbucks and you overhear a conversation. I've had situations where I've met people in a mall, at a bookstore, and they were reading a magazine like Success Magazine or Entrepreneur Magazine. We struck up and that led to an opportunity, right? Things like ads, right? There's a lot of buzz, mostly overwhelming nonsense around running Facebook ads and some different things out in the marketplace. But regardless of that, it's still, you generate an ad to then be able to use these 2 steps. Email your list. That's been a huge one for us, is emailing your list. But again, there's a right way to do it. And I don't know about you, but I don't like getting rejection. Do you? See, if you don't like getting rejection from your offers, then I think you're going to love our approach also, because it's very simple and effective to be able to use. You pique interest and then you make an offer. Some of the other ones, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. Now, there's a difference between when we say ads on Facebook or Google or YouTube or whatever, and then the social media side. This is the reach out side of things, right? So you really want to isolate those in silos. You don't want to just go, my Facebook isn't performing. Well, there's 2 categories of Facebook. There's the paid ad side, and then there's the social side of it, right? And you want to track them accordingly, and they both have their own unique approaches. Again, we're going to cover some of that here in a few minutes. So Facebook, LinkedIn, we've got joint ventures is what JV stands for, or strategic partnerships, networking meetings, and so on. Again, this is all about, and again, there's more like podcasts, which I already mentioned a little bit earlier, but what isn't listed, I actually should list it. For sake of time, I'm not going to. So I'm going to give you some samples here. I'm going to pull the scripts right up on the screen right here, right now for you. And again, if you're enjoying this segment of the training, I want to encourage you to go ahead and like the page, like this area, wherever you're seeing this right now. And then again, if you do feel there's some value here, who's somebody who should be getting this info that that's an entrepreneur or business owner that isn't experiencing it yet, and you could offer that opportunity for them. And again, it's a high compliment, which is why we put out some cool, or attempt to put out some cool resources like this. So let me walk you through this script. Is we would go to health club owners and we would say to those owners, if we were able to help you generate a couple hundred new clients in 60 days or less, and our company will run direct mail for you, radio for you, TV for you, and it won't be anything out of your pocket up front. We'll put the risk out, and then once we make money, we'll split the profits. Would you be open in learning more? And 7 or 8 out of 10 would say yes, and then we would do a stronger pro forma once we had the yeses, and then we would go back to the 7 or 8. And out of the 7 or 8, we'd have 3 to 4 serious conversation. Out of 3 to 4, typically we'd have 1 to 2 clients in that type of a scenario. Many of these clients, some of them did 7 figures, right? All the way back then with the type of approach. So this peak interest approach really works. It's really critical. You want to think of your peak interest question to be able to work with. So really kind of operate in a weird way. So I don't want to see you struggle with that same kind of anxiety, frustration, the problem of like being different online versus offline. No, it's about being a human being. It's about relationships, right? It's creating value and adding value in others' lives. So as it relates to this script, right? Once you get a yes, here's an example of how you would respond. Hey, Bill, great. Can you tell me a little bit about your situation and why this might interest you? Right? Again, this is a word-for-word script that if you're on the screen right now or making notes right now, you can literally copy and model this, right? You're engaging in a conversation, right, with a few kind of responses to get to know them better and see where you can help them, right? After you feel comfortable with the engagement, sometimes it's right away after one response, sometimes it could take a couple, right? You let them know you can help them if you can, right? So here's an example. It seems we can help you. I've got some tools and resources I can share with you about how to solve the problem they've got. How do you look on the day of the week at time, right? Or how do you look on Tuesday? Here's a link to book a time. Based on what you shared with me, I feel we can help you. Steve, right? So it's really simple. You pique their interest and then you give them an action. That's a very simple approach. Now, by the way, we're not done. I actually have a few other samples to be able to share with you too. So again, here is the make the offer sample. Here's what it is. Here's what it does for you. What that gives you is, what that means for you is, and if you're looking for the solution without the problem, then here's the action to take if you want it. So, for example, if you're on a podcast, right, or you're on an interview, or you're speaking at an event, or you're in a conversation and you got that yes, right? Here's an example. This is one that I use when there's an opportunity, right? And we have a few different offers, but this is one that I wanted to show you as an example. And I've got a couple other samples of other clients and other frameworks that you can model too. So yeah, we host an on-demand training called the Unusual 3-Step Social Media Method to Triple Your Business with Less Stress. What it does is it's going to give you the implementation and playbook that we use to grow a $20 million per year education, coaching, and publishing business and then sell it. And that gives you the ability to get a steady flow of daily lead sales and profits. That means you have greater freedom, growth, and clarity so you can have a bigger impact, reach, and contribution. Heck, if you're looking for a proven game plan and getting help with implementation and doing it with less stress and overwhelm and how we grew and then sold, then go to championbusinessblueprint.com. That's championbusinessblueprint.com. Now, how long did that take? All of about 20 seconds, right? Here's one of a good friend of mine, also a client of ours. We mutually do some cool stuff together. And I'm giving you my assessment of a way that he and or his team could describe it, or people who would refer him to people. And I just love his business, so I wanted to use an example for him. His name's Mike Aguilera with CEO Warrior. So we have an event called the Service Business Edge. What it does is give you our $30 million playbook and implementation plan we use to grow our service business to over $200 million. It gives you a proven blueprint to create wealth, freedom, and market domination. What that means for you is you're going to have greater certainty, confidence, and clarity to avoid the common mistakes. And if you're looking for a proven blueprint without the typical mistakes most business owners make, then go to servicebusinessedge.com right away, right? And go to servicebusinessedge.com right away. So again, can you see how these simple little offer scripts, templates could help you get more new business, more new opportunity? If you're on a podcast, I would encourage you to look at this framework next time you do an interview. Now, here's a challenge. Most of the experts you are following that are doing interviews on podcasts, when they do a call to action, they suck, to put it bluntly. I don't mean that as bluntly probably as it came out just now, but the fact is they're very casual about it, which again means if your business is under $5 million a year, don't be casual. Otherwise, you're going to end up a casualty. You'll end up in a year, 2 years, 3 years from now, looking back, oh God, I went on all these interviews and I didn't get nothing out of it. I got crickets. I got trickles of leads, when it could be dozens and dozens of leads every single time you do an interview. This is a way to create a structure around being able to do just that. So, as a bonus, now, what happens when you get a yes from somebody, right? And let's say you're in the business of high value programs, coaching, consulting, maybe you host events. I mean, we've put versions of this in place with companies and clients that are operating big education companies, they're running massive events and so on. So if you get a yes and you're in the consulting or coaching business or looking to have a strategy kind of call to go to the next level, one of our education companies that we started in the late 90s, early 2000s, and it really grew and expanded out of that publishing and coaching business. It was built on this framework that I'm going to share with you right now. Those couple companies did somewhere around, I don't know, 80, 90, maybe even over $100 million when it was all said and done. So let me walk you through that little template that you can use starting today. See, are you looking for help? Right? Yes. So you get the yes. Okay, great. Well, it seems like we can help you. If you're looking to, and then again, go back to the outcome without X, which means the problem. How about we see if we can help? Our typical fee rate tuition for a day, hour, or event is X. However, and that's really important to put some kind of, if you're brand new and you just started today and you're then use industry average. A typical fee for someone like, what we provide is, and then put a price juxtapositioning on it, right? That's a fancy word. I forget where I first heard that word, but anyway, it's really, you're just putting a contrast to it, a context to it, right? Because here's the deal. I mean, if you got a Picasso painting and you go put duct tape in the corner of that Picasso, right? It diminishes the value, doesn't it? But on the other hand, if you go get a beautiful, expensive frame and put around it, it has, again, you put the right lighting around it and all that sort of thing. Doesn't it add value to it? It does. That's what we're doing here. We're giving you a context, giving you these scripts, giving you these templates so you can create a better framework overall, right? So, however, what I'd be willing to do is a 10-minute, 20-minute, 30-minute, 60-minute name of the session. Ideally, you want to come up with a powerful, solution-oriented name, meaning the name kind of describes what's going to happen as a result of that conversation with you. And you could do it either low cost or no cost. We've done both, and I'm okay doing either a fee-based consultation or a non-fee-based. It just depends on your business model, right? And there are pros and cons to being able to do both. So in our session, you'll get, and then usually around things like confidence, clarity, certainty, and focus. 2, and then name the outcome that you're going to provide them, right? Second thing is reduce, eliminate, or get rid of certain types of blocks, problems, dangers, and opportunities that are keeping you from, and then it's a problem. And then finally, and again, this is all in the script, so I'm just going along what we have here. And then again, I've got a couple samples I'm going to share with you so you're not left in limbo going, well, how do I kind of make this us, right? And finally, you'll feel, that's really a powerful one in that third bullet, if you will, that third benefit that you're describing. And finally, you'll feel or get or be, and then you give them the benefits to get the outcomes so you can have, and then even deeper benefits, right? So let me give you an example. So are you looking for help? And they say yes. Now, for me, let me share with you, I get people regularly who goes, how did you get clients like, Joe Polish or Dean Graziosi? I don't want to get into a whole name dropping thing, but some of the biggest names in the world as far as education, coaching, support, training, and so on. And the reality is, it was relationship in nature, but it followed this format. When I sat down with Joe, I remember I had, his framework is called ELF versus half. Easy, lucrative, and fun. You can have an ELF business, easy, lucrative, and fun, or a half business, hard, annoying, lame, and frustrating. I love that framework, don't you? It's kind of like that old adage, which, we've heard for years, in all likelihood, or maybe you heard it too, which is, it can be, which is like joy, or it can be, which is a lot of pain. So you can have an ELF business or a half business. I said, hey, Joe, it seems like there's some things we can help you to go from some of these areas of your business, because he had a great bit. And whether I would have been a part of his business or not, his company was it was very profitable. It was already doing well, right? I don't want to make it sound like it wasn't. But I saw a lot of assets that were being unleveraged, and I helped leverage them, and the company tripled during our time together because of a lot of great teamwork and a lot of great things that were done. Now, you can have an ELF business or a half business. I said, would you like our help? And ultimately he said yes, right? And so it kind of followed this kind of a simple approach, right? So seems like we can help. If you're looking to double your sales and profits, right, with less steps, it seems, what we have might be a fit for you. Our typical rate for a day is $10,000 with our private clients. However, what I'd be willing to do is a 30-minute breakthrough clarity session at no cost to you. In our session, you'll get clarity to connect the dots on how to get a steady flow of lead sales and profits daily, get unstuck, see the blind spots, and stop the lulls, the plateaus, and the inconsistencies of your sales being up and down, or worse, all the revenue to be dependent on you. And finally, we'll give you a new action plan with more clarity, confidence, and direction to double your business with less stress, so you can have a bigger impact, reach, and contribution. If you'd like to take advantage of this limited time breakthrough clarity session, go to breakthroughstrategycall.com. Now imagine if you're on a podcast, or you're in a conversation, or you're talking to somebody, and you give somebody that kind of power of what you do and why they should do it with you, and you do create the framing, instead of duct tape in the corners and going, oh, let's do a call, right? People don't want to do a call. They're busy, aren't they? I don't have time to do calls. There needs to be a purpose. There needs to be a reason. There needs to be an outcome. There needs to be an ideal scenario from it, right? As I think I heard Cameron Harold, who wrote an incredible book called Meeting Sucks, he says, no agenda, no agenda. Well, everybody's agenda is pretty similar related to time, right? We have very little of it, and it can only be used. So don't go, hey, let's do a call. No, give people a reason why to do a call with you. Take the time to frame up what it is that you have to offer. It'll be well worth it. So one of our clients is in the stem cell industry, and they do it's got kind of a hybrid coaching and education with some agency where they do traffic for you. So this would be an example of this particular client. Are you looking for help to get patients in your clinic, which is a common big problem that most docs, chiropractors, and plastic surgeons, hey, great, it seems like we can help. If you're looking for a way to get high value patients and add a 5 to 6 figure a month stream of revenue, it seems like this would be a fit for you. Our typical rate for an event for a day and a half is $7,500. However, what I'd be willing to do is a 30-minute, no cost, patient infusion strategy session at no cost to you. In our session, you get clear, notice the languaging, get clear on what has to happen for you to fill your workshops with an automated system, even if you don't know anything about ads or selling, eliminate the roadblocks that have kept you stuck, where all the new patients and revenue is dependent on you. And finally, you're going to be charged up after the session on how you can add 5 to 6 figures a month as a revenue stream, even if you've tried doing workshops or you've tried online marketing that hasn't worked for you in the past. If you'd like to take advantage of our limited time, no cost breakthrough clarity session, go to, and then the link, right? So again, how cool is this strategy for you to be able to work with? Now I'm just opening up my screen here because we've covered a lot in a really, really short period of time, right? So we've given you the scripts And I'm going to pull this off here. Ideally, you got the chance to jot some notes down. And by the way, if you haven't, then make sure to come back to this video, grab your pen, grab a piece of paper, write down these scripts. But essentially what I want to do is just summarize a little bit of what we've covered in our time today. And what have we covered? So there's been a handful of things. We've talked about how you can go out and get more appointments, get more leads, get more sales sessions, and getting more calls and getting your phone to ring with your ideal perfect clients. We've identified what business are you really in. It's a long-term approach with relationships. The two approaches to be able to take, basically you've got an offline model, which is, face-to-face, person-to-person. You've got an online model, but you still want to treat it person-to-person and be a human being. We've given you the two-step approach. The first part of the approach is you pique their interest, and then next is you make an offer. And when you put this in place and you model these scripts, what you will find is you're going to get more appointments. You're going to get the phone to ring. You're going to be able to get more lead sales. It's not going to happen overnight. It's a seed. You got to go plant it. And if you grab a couple seeds and throw them off on the cement and go, hey, where are my apple trees? Well, that's certainly an approach you can choose to take. However, on the other hand, if you're like Johnny Appleseed, you plant a lot of seeds in fertile soil, and then you go water the soil, and then you realize that some seeds are not going to germinate, but the ones who do, you take care of them, you pull the weeds around it, you let them start to germinate and grow. Soon you've got an apple tree that you can pull apples off forever, virtually. And the reality is that's what this approach can do for you. It's pique interest, then make an offer. The big problem most people make is they lead with an offer. Let me puke on you and tell you how great I am and what I am. Some people have amazing offers, but people don't want to hear it because they haven't hooked and piqued the interest of someone saying yes. And typically, if you want to have that chance to grow your business, at the end of the day, make more offers. Here's another question. How many offers did you make today? How many did you make today? Or how many did you make this week? How many did you make in the last 30 days? See, if you're sputtering with how many offers you make, it's your sales and revenue and profits are probably sputtering. The more offers you make, ideally get to a place that you're making offers every day to the different pockets of your community, of your potential tribe, potential clients, and all those 10, 12 areas that I mentioned a little bit earlier. So anyway, I could keep going here, but there's a lot of ideally value. If you liked what we've been sharing in the insights, make sure to like the page. If you feel like someone could benefit from this, make sure to share it with them. Come back to this session, grab a pen, I would love nothing more than to hear how you're putting this in place. Post your comments, tell us how you're doing, tell us how you're applying this. And likewise, if you want to go deeper with us and you'd like greater clarity and focus on how you can double or triple your business with less stress, right? If you'd like to get unstuck, if you'd like to connect the dots to generate more leads, more sales, more profitability, to have a bigger impact, a bigger reach and contribution, then I challenge you and encourage you to go to breakthroughstrategycall.com. That's breakthroughstrategycall.com. Our normal fee is $10,000 for a day. We'll give you the ability to take advantage of our 30-minute, no cost breakthrough strategy session. What will happen is you'll go there, you'll enter your name and email, you'll fill out some information to give us some insight on your business. We actually do some research. We do some lookups as far as like what's going on in your business, your competitors. We give you, there's some good market data we're going to be able to provide you as well. And we'll have a conversation. You'll leave charged up knowing what has to happen for you to be on a path to be able to double or triple your business with less stress, less overwhelm, less burnout, and maybe learn about how to take advantage of our playbook of how we, in publishing, coaching, working with thousands of different clients over the years, how we've been able to help them. We'd love to help you too. So if you have an interest in learning more, just go to breakthroughstrategycall.com. That's breakthroughstrategycall.com. Look forward to serving you. Enjoy the session, and we'll talk soon. Bye for now.